This is the fastest monk build and you should actually try this out yourself. In this video I will be showing you how we actually get the Drive and Thunder to stay channeled almost indefinitely, how we get the movement speed I have in this, and how do we actually get the trick to have extra movement speed on top of our maximum movement speed. So with this build you absolutely need the Drive and Thunder, and the problem is that this is a chest piece and the movement speed for the monk mostly comes from the chest pieces. But fear not, we have two ways to get movement speed. First one is the easy way, we just slap on Isidore set 2 pieces and we get 30% movement speed for 3 seconds every time we defeat an enemy. Now the second way we can get the movement speed, and the better way, is with the new Wine Child 7-sided strike essence that gives us 10% movement speed for every time we hit an enemy for 3.2 seconds. Up to maximum of 40%. So this is better way because that's 40% movement speed and you don't need to rely on actually defeating the enemy. So if you're running with a friend or two, it doesn't matter if your friends actually kill the monsters because you can just proc this by hitting the monsters. Now you absolutely must have the Leaping Shadow with the 7-sided strike, or otherwise you cannot have this shooting out all the time and actually giving you the movement speed. Because if you have normal 7-sided strike, you have a cooldown and you press it once and then you have the movement speed for 3.2 seconds, and that's not good enough. You absolutely need Leaping Shadows for this to work. Alright, let's go to the hidden gem, and that's Drive and Thunder actually gains movement speed from attack speed. Yeah, you heard that right. If you increase your attack speed, your movement speed increases with the Tempest Rush. Now, I know, it increases the channeling cost, so your channel will go down faster, but hear me out. If it increases movement speed when you have attack speed, we can also use the Boundless Breath, and Boundless Breath increases our energy every time we move 1 yard. So we get 1.6 energy every time we move 1 yard. Now the channeling cost is higher, but the movement speed is also higher. So this combined with the Drive and Thunder gives us the energy back. Well, not everything, but enough to keep it going almost all the time. And if we also combine that with a trick shot gem, which is a 1-star gem, so it should be pretty easy to have. And if you sometimes play Wizard, you probably already have this. And what this does, it just makes your channel skills consume 24% less energy, which just means that you can have almost unlimited amount of energy. Not unlimited, but really close to that. And this is why we absolutely want to use 4 pieces of Vithus Urge, so we can get that 30% attack speed for 3 seconds every time we use beneficial effect. Now, unfortunately, the 7-sided strike that you put on and start shooting out the beams or whatever they are out of you does not trigger Vithus Urge. Unfortunately, it has to be a skill that you press and it instantly gives you a buff. That's how Vithus Urge triggers, or at least to my knowledge, but the main point is 7-sided strike is not going to give you unlimited Vithus Urges, so there are some tricks that we need to manage to actually keep this on all the time, and the easiest way definitely is going to be Path of the Storm, the banned slots. Cyclone Strike gives you 20% damage reduction, which is not great, you don't need it, but every time you start channeling Cyclone Strike, you get a Vithus buff. So every time you use Cyclone Strike or start channeling it, you get the movement speed. So this is the brain dead easy way. You just use this because anyways, every time you use another skill, you have to take your finger off from the Cyclone Strike to cast other skill, and then you start channeling this skill again. And if you do this every 4 to 5 seconds, you just let go, press again, you get Vithus Urge buff. But of course, you might want to run the terminal pace, because with this you get 57% damage increase with your Cyclone Strike whenever you have 30% movement speed on, and that's basically all the time when you're grinding. And this is really great, and this helps if you have a bit lower resonance or a bit lower damage. This is insane damage, boost, but then you have to use your beneficial effect like a Calefaction, Shield of Zen, and your 7-sided strike. In like you have to use one, wait like 5 to 6 seconds, use the another one, wait like 5 to 6 seconds, and use another one. You can also take Pensive Throne off and just slap on the new helmet to get another fire effect and bit more damage, but then you probably want to take off the Obstruction of Omniscience, so you don't have any dashes anymore. But now you can rotate Vithus Urge with these buffs, so you just wait 5 seconds every time you cast another one, but that's a lot of things to do with a grinding build. And usually when we are grinding, we don't want to do a lot of things. So that's why I probably recommend the damage reduction one, because that just makes all things so much easier. Before I say what other 4 pieces of set items you need to use, please consider subscribing, liking the video. That would mean a ton to me. But let's go straight to the set items. So if you are using Obstruction of Omniscience, Gloomgood's price is pretty good for you. It gives you 15% damage increase for 3 seconds and critical chance by 22.5% for 3 seconds. And like I told before, it's about 4 seconds cooldown if you do hit 4 monsters with the Obstruction of Omniscience. So you only have 1 second down every 4 seconds with this, or every 3 seconds, however you wanna take that in. But this is pretty good. If you are not using Obstruction of Omniscience and you are using 3 beneficial effects, 7-sided strike, Inner Sanctuary, and Calefaction, Aga, Shield of Zen, then you probably want to use Banquet of Ice, because you have 2 dots and then you get critical hit chance and damage. Same things, different cup. So this is also pretty good. You can also use Augments if you feel like. This gives you a little bit more dots and stuff to work on. It's pretty good. And lastly, you can also use Siege of the Sun Gold. That if you control the channel, you get up to 30% increased damage. But this is only for the same enemy, so not that great. But the 4 pieces, whenever you stop channeling, you just explode. So you can kind of stop for the packs and stop channeling and just explode the pack. This is probably a bit better inside the dungeons, but well, it's not bad build for dungeon. I do use it in dungeons at the moment, but there's probably a lot better builds for the dungeons. So this is not made for the dungeons, but this is something you can use inside the dungeons. Now in this part, we just quickly go over all the set item skills and stuff. And this is for the people that didn't want to watch the whole video. So Shield of Zen, 7-sided strike, Cyclone Strike, Exploding Palm, and Fist of Thunder. Now on the essences, we have Calefaction, Obstruction of Omniscience, Leaping Shadow, Boundless Breath. We are not using the first one. I just don't have the movement speed 7-sided strike essence, so take the movement speed 7-sided strike essence instead of this one. We have Path of the Storm, and of course Drive and Thunder. This wouldn't work without it. We have Drive and Thunder, and then we have Pensive Crown over here. And 4 pieces of Vithus, and with the 7-sided movement speed, you will be using 4 pieces of Gloomgood's Price. But if you don't have, like I don't have, then you use 2 pieces of this and just Isatar 2 pieces to get the 30% movement speed. And this is about the video, today's video. Thank you for watching this video. Really means a lot to me, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.